Hey, I'm NotJah Witness, and this is my third part to the calling bullshit on Jehovah's Witnesses children's book, My Book of Bible Stories. Back into it with number 17, Twins Who Were Different. This is a story of Esau and Jacob, sons of Isaac. In this time, they were all about blessings and offering sacrifices, so at one point it was time for Isaac to give a blessing to his oldest son. Esau, of course, expected the blessing because he was the oldest, but he had sold his blessing right to Jacob, so he got the shits with Jacob and spoke of wanting to kill him. Now, instead of working out the problem with Esau and his anger management, their mother, who overheard, successfully plots to have Jacob, the sweet innocent one, sent off to marry someone from a different place in order to keep him safe. Now, this is pretty shit on the face of it, but then you realize the obvious favoritism from the parents towards the two, which is pretty harmful, and then punishing the wrong child, but to have him basically sent away and sold as a slave, risking death in doing so, in order to avoid the horrible wrath of his likely prepubescent brother. But hey, they think God is with them, so nothing can go wrong. 18 follows Jacob's exile as he seduces a young lady named Rachel, arguably sexually assaults her even in this context, and then was forced to work 7 years as a slave to her father to earn the right to marry her. 7 years as a slave. And then, at the end, Rachel's father pulls a Swiftie on Jacob and instead offers his other daughter to him, sort of blackmailing him to work an extra 7 years to earn his right to marry Rachel. This is just all kinds of wrong, but it does get better. After that second set of 7 years, Jacob gets with both Rachel and her sister, threesomes it up, and it's endorsed by God. But apparently, kids, Jehovah only let them do that back in the day, not anymore. These days, it's no sex till you're married, if then. And if you do, and decide it wasn't working out, well, tough nuts, because you can't walk away and you can't yank it. Witnesses live with the blue balls, endorsed by Jehovah. Next is Jacob has a big family, but of course he did. He had 2 bloody wives. Then again, 2 wives. Anyway, this story is just about Jacob being a wanderer, getting it on all over the place and having lots of kids. 12 sons, it says, and lots of daughters too. I'm feeling another theme emerging here. This story is actually just about the 12 sons and how important they will become as God's chosen tribe. #Walala. Nice, round number 20, titled Dinah Gets Into Trouble. Basically, Dinah wants to go to the dance. Her dad didn't let her, not because she wasn't old enough, or she was dressed scantily, or that they were getting raunchy, or there were drugs or anything. No, they weren't the right religion. They didn't take the jar dog up the butt, so they can't go to the dance party. Or she can't. The only other message here is don't get into dancing or anything. That could be perceived as fun with friends if it isn't clean jar-ho in the butthole, buddies. Seriously though, she is then dealt a really tough hand by being raped at the party by one of the guys. So what does her family do about this when they find out? Well, of course they go and kill every man that was at this party. Not just the guy that raped her, all of them. And even that was bad by God and the old man Jacob. But did they get annoyed with her family for the killing or continue to be mad at the rapist for his actions? No, they blamed Dinah because she went to the party of non-worshippers. For fuck's fucking sake, I'm pretty sure that if I let my kids go to a dance party of Jehovah's Witnesses, it would be very likely that they would be sexually assaulted by an elder, more than an outsider. Look into it. There are court documents of the Australian cover-up, not to mention the fellow YouTubers exposing it. Sorry, tangent. 21 is about Joseph, son of Jacob, and how all his older brothers hated him so much that they sold him into slavery and fooled their father into thinking he was dead, all because he was their father's favourite. Another theme, I think, presenting itself here. And this time, I think the slavery was bad, I think, or good, given where Joseph ends up. It's hard to tell with these things in the Bible. Either way, slavery seems to be a pretty acceptable way of dealing with life in these brainwashing parables. Next. So Joseph, of course, was pretty important in early Bible times. This is about him holding his faith after being imprisoned. He hallucinates shit and gets the Pharaoh's attention like any other snake charmer, and Pharaoh goes to release him, but Joseph is just, for whatever reason, is forgotten, slips through the cracks, and he's not released. Try a US prison. I'm pretty sure this would have been a walk in the park compared. Final one now. Pharaoh's Dreams. Basically, Pharaoh has a bunch of weird-ass dreams, and upon waking, remembers Joseph in the prison and the hallucinations that he had. So he orders Joseph to make some shit up about the dreams that Pharaoh had, just to make sense of it all. Joseph pulls a convincing load of turds out of nowhere and wins the cons the Pharaoh by simply explaining how savings works. So it all goes down well. Joseph not only gets to live in Egypt with Pharaoh, but also gets to bring all his family back too. But more to come on that one next time. So let's face it, this is all just fanciful stuff. I'm sure that there are some grains of truth to this, sort of somewhere hidden in there, but for the most part, it just seems to be a wasted page for the kids because it's not interesting. Like they give a crap about these weird fantasies about wheat and cattle and all its relevance to your ridiculous prophecies. Anywho. So I think at the moment I am just preaching to the choir, but I do hope that in time I'll get to the stage where I can start to articulate truly convincing arguments to help those that are still in the truth. But as it stands, despite having been out of there for a few years now, I still had my blinders firmly on for the most of that time. So this is just a sort of documenting my journey of discovery or rediscovery of a lot of things, and my attempts to reach those affected and pull them back into reality and out of that misguided organization. I don't hate the people who believe, because I was there too, and many I know still are. I just want to wake them up fully and bring anyone I can, out of there. So thank you for listening and letting me be there, or be here, and I hope I can stay. If you would like to see more on Jehovah's Witnesses' beliefs, as I try and expose and refute them wherever I can, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you will. It makes a lot of difference. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm NotJah Witness.